Yes, we can.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. Well, we have some good updates. We had a board meeting and some other things, but probably the biggest item is that we're in public beta now, and so we should go straight to the technical update, and then we'll follow up with some discussion on that and the board meeting. So, Rao, are you available?
Yes, I am. Sharing
Awesome.
screen. So you should be able to see my screen now. So we released 0918 this last Sunday. That's the public beta release. And the main feature there is that it includes per validator vaults. So the mergeability issue is improved now. And we did release it and then also updated the testnet with it. There is one issue that we're working with whereby, I mean, it runs fine if you give it enough flow and normal contracts. But we noticed an issue where if there is insufficient flow, then somewhere, normally when there is insufficient flow, what should happen is that the contract, it would play, and in the replay, so the RSpace state needs to be rolled back when there is insufficient flow. And somehow that part seems like the rollback is not happening properly. So for that reason, in some kind of contracts where there is insufficient flow, we're having problems with it, but we're working on fixing that issue. So that, I guess, is the main thing about the where we are with the 0918. But beyond that, everything else is the focus is on improving mergeability and any feature cleanup, more testing and hardening security, bug fixing issues. And then we will be looking at network safety and reliability, and if from a DNS perspective, if there's dropping of DNS by Google or something like that, whether there are things we can do to keep the network reliable there. And then things that are necessary, either tools or documentation or APIs for dApp developers and working with exchanges. So that's kind of where that's where the focus is. Those are the items. In addition to this per validator vault feature that's already in, there are two specific areas we're looking at to improve mergeability. One is to see if there are improvements in RSpace that can help with mergeability. And another is to refactor the proof of stake contract. It's a huge single monolithic contract, basically, at this point. So we're trying to see if we can refactor that to reduce conflicts from a mergeability perspective. So those are the things we're focusing on from mergeability. And then on the hardening, there is a PR being worked on for securing the access to protocol private methods in proof of stake. And I already talked about this particular bug that we are dealing with. And there are a few tickets, and they all relate to that particular bug. Then the rest of the stuff is really more proactive testing using this I spoke to last time. Basically, we're trying to use property and law testing, generative tests, and where feasible to do formal methods analysis, particularly in the Casper area. Isaac is working on a TLA plus model of Casper to see if that will tell us anything about where there could be problems in there. And then we're addressing issues that have the mercury stability label. So that's much of that is really to do at this point, and we're really just focusing on this, getting this bug resolved that has those multiple tickets on that. There is a improved web interface in this 2811 pull request by Tomislav. That's being reviewed, and there are some tests being written for that, but it should be released soon. It should be released in the next version of the version of our node. So 0919 should have that, and I think Arvin and others are actively waiting or looking for that to be released. Then we will, once that's released, we'll get into looking at RCAT, and then bringing it up to speed and moving, using that as basically a test bed, including possibly integrating that to DAPI.tech. So that's the work there in terms of the tools and APIs and documentation for DApp developers, and the two-node network that I talked about last week. We're still working on that. In performance improvements, basically the tooling and all that, we are still, it's the same. I mean, we're doing the flame graphs and Jaeger to identify issues in performance and then addressing them as we find them. And then there is this one thing when we did a GitHub dissect, we realized that one of the PRs that was put some time ago has introduced some performance issues. So we're analyzing that. I mean, we'll be getting to that again once we are past this bug and stabilize the testnet. So that's kind of where we are with the code base at this point in time. That's the tech update. Any questions? Okay, over to you, Greg.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rao. I really appreciate the update. It's nice to have a detailed discussion of the activity that's going on. So I also want to thank all the developers for their hard work, and everyone involved. You know, we're continuing to put in some pretty long hours, and I really appreciate all the hard work that everyone's been doing. So another important update for folks. Hang on one second. Another important update is we had a board meeting, the December board meeting, regular board meeting, Monday. And there were two major items of business. One is that the board voted unanimously to make 25 million rock available for sale. The term sheet will be posted today. I can tell you that the price point is going to be 15 cents per rock with bulk discounts, and notched at 12.5 cents and 10 cents. So the larger the bulk, the steeper the discount. So that's the basics. The term sheet will be up and available and posted today. So let me just stop there and see if there are any questions about that. Okay, moving on. The other thing that we did was We have. I have to check and see if it's executed on both sides, but we've extended a contract to Lori Luo, who has been working with us now for the past several weeks, and we formalized that relationship. She will be the VP of Chinese Relations. She's coming to us via her Hong Kong company, and Lori has been incredibly instrumental with the Chinese community. She's met over the last week and a half with several institutional groups and traditional institutional blockchain investors who are contemplating becoming members of the co-op. I will provide more details about those engagements on the closed door sessions, but know that there is quite significant interest, and we fully expect there to be a lot of good activity on this sale over the next few days. Any questions on that? Okay, moving on then. As some people may have noticed, the co-op websites are down. Kayvon is on it, and Ian is on it, and they hope to have the matter resolved in a few hours. If there are any further complications, we'll put the word out on Discord as to what when to expect a fix. But yeah, we have folks on it right now, and they're taking care of it. I want to put a plug out there for this week's RCast. Again, around this time of year, I like to lift my head up a little bit from the grindstone and reconsider the larger aims, the bigger aims. And so I've put some time to talk about some higher level coordination capabilities and capacities that I think we can tap into. And so this week's RCast is talking about how we access those through games. And these are real live games that could be implemented directly on top of RChain, fairly straightforwardly in Rolang. But they're games that, while they're also concrete and implementable, they illustrate some what I believe are important principles about coordination, collaboration that we can apply more generally. So if you're interested in that phenomena, if you're interested in how that phenomena relates to the governance of the chain, please take a look at the RCast this week. Any questions on that? Okay, I think that's all I've got. Did I miss anything? Ian, Rao, anything we need to talk about? Steve?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. Well, unless there's any burning questions from the community, we can yield back the time, and I'll get back to the day-to-day operations.
Thank you, Greg.
Sure. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Greg.
Thanks, everyone.